The Edmonton Oilers did not win the Stanley Cup! Despite entering the playoffs hot-handed and with the third best odds of winning the cup, they didn't even win half the games required for a Stanley. To some fans, this may have been shocking since, again, they entered the playoffs on a roll, but to me, this was not shocking at all, at least in hindsight. Because you see, I can pinpoint exactly when the Oilers' fate was sealed. It wasn't when Jonathan Marchessault scored a natural hat trick in Game 6, or when the Golden Knights scored 3 goals in less than 2 minutes the game prior, or really any particular moment in this series. The Oilers' fate was sealed on April 19th, 2023, aka the day this was released.
A long time waiting for the cup, coming back home impatient enough. I need every Oiler fan to stand up and pledge allegiance to Stanley we trust.
This is why in hindsight, the Oilers' elimination was kinda obvious. Yeah, it seems like rap songs like these are one of the 2 kisses of death in sports, with the other kiss being the "We Want Place" chant that Toronto fell victim to. And making a rap song was a mistake Flames fans made last year, so I'm kinda surprised Oilers fans didn't learn from that. I thought they, of all the fan bases, would have learned. But I'll give credit where credit is due. In Stanley We Trust is better than Win the Cup. I assume because it's not a parody of a Cardi B song, her music sucks. Speaking of the Flames, disclaimer, as a fan of that team, I am obviously biased against the Oilers, but I am going to try and put said biases aside for this video. And unfortunately, in order to do that, I have to say Connor McDavid is the best player in the NHL today. As much as I would love to deny it, I just can't. The numbers don't lie, especially not this season's numbers. They're right there. It took him a bit to really get going in the playoffs, but once he did, there was no stopping him. Luckily for Vegas, they didn't have to stop him. They just had to stop everyone around him. One of those players they stopped is arguably the second best player in the NHL today, Leon Draisaitl. Unlike McDavid, Draisaitl wasted no time cooking in the playoffs, scoring 7 goals in the first round against the Kings. And in the first 2 games against Vegas, he was blazing so hard he could have played in the Himalayas for hours. But then he kinda pieced the fuck out after that. He went from being on pace to break the single season record for playoff goals to only having 1 assist in the last 4 against Vegas. He was also pretty yucky-wucky defensively in those games with a plus-minus of -7, including 4 of those minuses coming in Game 6, which was an elimination game for Edmonton. But at least he was good in those first 2 games. I can't really say that about the other guys in the top 6 though. Last postseason, Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman combined for 30 goals. This postseason, they combined for 7. Kane specifically did the Leon thing of only having 1 assist, except this time instead of only the last 4 games of the series, it was every game of the series. Oh yeah, remember the Oilers and their power play and how it was like really historic and all that? With a PP as marvelous as that, you would want Edmonton to be on it constantly, especially since Vegas raw dogged them at even strength. That is literally double what the Oilers scored on 5v5. But of course, it wouldn't be the Edmonton Oilers if there weren't issues on defense and goaltending. Last offseason, Edmonton decided they've had enough of Mike Smith being flip-floppity on being good and bad. So they got this new goaltender to replace him named Jack Campbell for 5 years and $25 million. Jack Campbell was meant to be the answer to the Oilers' goaltending issue, but it seemed the real answer was this other guy named Stuart Skinner. But then the playoffs started and Skinner decided this was the perfect time to start playing like an Oilers goaltender. Even though he was yanked out of 4 separate games, Jay Woodcroft was not keen on letting Mike Campbell have a shot at starting these games. I'm not saying Campbell would have absolutely definitely aced it if they made him the starter. I'm just saying it worked for the Panthers when they switched from Lyon to Bubtitsky. It could have worked for the Oilers. Oh, but if you think that's bad as it is, wait until you find out who the Golden Knights goaltender was. It wasn't Thompson, it wasn't Quick, it wasn't Brossoit. Well, I mean, it was Brossoit for the first 2 games and the first period of Game 3, but it was Aiden fucking Hill. I shit you not. The Oilers got out-goalied by someone who was only in the net because Thompson and Brossoit were both injured. He hadn't been on the ice for nearly 2 months, and he held Leon Draisaitl to only 1 assist. That right there is what I like to call comedy. I saw some Oily fans blaming Leon's sudden disappearance on Petrangelo's chop on him, but I think maybe it was this guy, Aiden Hill, probably. Or maybe it was the chop, I don't know. But hey, let's cut Skinner some slack. After all, he is a rookie, a Calder Trophy finalist rookie to be exact. He has much to learn, and he can use these defeats as a learning experience to improve himself for future playoff games. And also, he wasn't Darnell Nurse and Cody Cece. Oh, mamma mia, Mia Taylor, a sheet. If you're weird like me and you want to compare defensive pairings to those anime thingies, these two would be Rent-A-Girlfriend. Oh my god, they were bad. Jack Eichel's line was feasting whenever they faced those two. Like, absolutely feasting. Like, you would think it was Thanksgiving. Just watch some clips of the Knights' goals in this series and pay attention to the Oilers players wearing numbers 25 and 5, and you'll quickly realize, oh no, they are terrible. Like, look at this one. Why are they sandwiching Leon when there are two Knights players with plenty of space and an open net just begging for a goal, which there was a goal, by the way. Why? That was in game 6, by the way, the one where McDavid said,
I think we're going to have our best game in the series tonight.
And I guess Cody and Darnell heard him say that, and they were like, lol, Lamau even. Basically, they were key factors in the Oilers losing, along with the other things that I mentioned earlier, and I expect them to be learning Chinese in the offseason. Oh, and for once, procrastination benefits me, because now I can say Matthew Tkachuk has more conference final wins than McDavid and Draisaitl. I'm bragging that a Flame Star won a conference final game with a different team. Oh my god, I made a big mistake choosing the Flames. But yeah, that's about it. The Edmonton Oilers did not become the first Canadian team since 1993 to win the Stanley Cup, and hopefully they never will. I'm hoping someone else in Canada does it before them. Goodbye.
You had to have it all. Well, have you had enough? You greedy little bastard, you get what you deserve. When all is said and done, I will be the one to leave you in your misery and hate what you've become.